Welcome to Learning WooCommerce Video 3, Adding a Variable Product. And in this video, we are going to define a variable product. So we're going to look at it and just make sure that we understand what a variable product is. And then we're actually going to go out and I'm going to demonstrate the creation of a variable product and go through all the different settings. With that, let's go ahead and go to our demo store and take another look at what a variable product is all about. All right, so here we are back at our demo shop, and I'm just going to scroll down here to our featured products. And now in our last video, we talked about products in general, and then we looked at creating a simple product. We actually demonstrated that, showed how that worked. And now this time we're going to look at variable products. And so what's the difference? And again, if you remember back from video 1, we talked about it a little bit. Talk about it in a little more detail now. But if you think about it and you go into a store, let's say, and you're looking at a pair of shoes, you may have those pair of shoes in black or brown. So that it's the same product, but there's a variation between black and brown. Also, another dimension of that could be size. So you can choose from color, and you can choose from size as well. So in that case, you'd have black shoes size 9, or brown shoes size 9, or black shoes size 10, or brown shoes size 10, so on and so forth. So all those different combinations are basically different variations of the same product. And that's different from a simple product, because with a simple product, basically there's no additional choices to make. That's the product. You see it, you like it, you buy it, put it in your cart, and you're done. Which is why if you hover over the simple product here, you have just simply add to cart down here. Of course, if I click on it here, I can read more about it. But if I click here, I can just add it directly to my cart. But over here, if I hover over, it says select options, because there are several different attributes that I can choose from. So let me click on that and show that to you in a little more detail. And here, notice that we have size and color that I can choose from. So these are actually called attributes in WooCommerce, size and color. And then for size, I have 3 options in this example. And for color, I have 2 options. All right. So for example, I can choose the size is small and the color is black. Now, another thing that I can do in setting up this product is I can, depending on the combination, the price may be different. So in this case, if I flip it over to large, notice that the price went up. So a large is more expensive than the small. Okay, so see that there. Medium's a little more expensive. So each one actually goes up in price as the size increases. So that's something that you can choose to do. Now, one thing that I do want to note is that if you think back to your school days in math, your math class, as I'm adding attributes here, size, color, and then all the different variations involved, I could add a third attribute if I wanted to. For example, maybe style. Maybe there's a slightly different style for this product. As I'm adding that, though, my product's getting more and more complex. In other words, it's growing exponentially, meaning all my possible combinations are growing exponentially. So here, just with the 2 attributes and my different variations, I have small and black, small and brown. I have medium and black, medium and brown, large and black, large and brown. Okay, so those are all the different combinations. Now imagine it with a third attribute. And imagine it with more choices, more options under each attribute. It could get very complex. So the key point is you really want to stop and think about what you're trying to achieve and plan it before you create it in WooCommerce. Really plan out what you're trying to do, what are your attributes, what are your options, and realize that as you add these attributes and options and variations, it does make your product a lot more complex. Now, it can be done but you really want to stop and think about what you're trying to achieve and plan it out beforehand before you actually start creating it in WooCommerce. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and create a new variable product. All right, so before I actually create my variable product, let me just go over what I want to create. I want to create a t-shirt product. Let's call it cool t-shirt. And it's going to have two attributes, size and color. And the attribute size, the choices will be small, medium, and large. And for the attribute color, we're going to have blue and gray. Okay, those are all my options. And the small t-shirt is going to be $5. The medium t-shirt is going to be $10, and the large t-shirt is going to be $15, irrespective of color. So a small blue will be $5. A small gray will be $5. A medium blue will be 10. A medium gray will be 10, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to have color affect the price, just the size. All right, so that's my goal. And to create a new variable product, just like before with the simple product, I'm going to go to the dashboard, and the products right here, I'm going to choose Add Product. And I'm going to call it Very Cool T-shirt. How about that? Very Cool T-shirt. All right. Now, this here is my product description. I'll fill that in as well. Just call it Test Product. And I also have a short description, don't forget, way down here. Test Product Short Description. All right. Now, before when we made a product, we left it as simple product, but this time for product data, we're going to choose variable product. All right. And what we really need to do next is set up our attributes. That's this tab right here, attributes. And then when we create our attributes now, again, attributes are going to be size and color. And then once we create those size and color attributes with small, medium, large, and blue and gray, then we go to our variations and then set everything up there, all the different combinations with the different pricing under variations. Now, you can do everything from this screen. I can set up my attributes, everything right from here. However, I strongly recommend you do it here under the Attributes tab. And that would be setting it up globally. So you set it up, and then you can reuse those attributes. So I can reuse that size attribute, small, medium, large. I can reuse that color attribute blue and gray. And it just makes managing it a lot easier, particularly if you have a large store with lots of different products. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And so before I leave this screen, let me just save this draft. That way I can come right back to it. And now under attributes, I'm going to click on attributes under products, attributes. And I'm ready to create my first attribute, which is size. So the name is size. The slug is the URL, and I'm not quite sure if that actually shows up anywhere. Oh, got size right there. And I'm going to leave this as select. It even says that choose select if you're going to use your attributes for variations. And I'll leave it also as custom ordering. That way I can move it around. So I'm going to click on Add Attribute. So there it is, add size. And now I need to say what the size attribute options are, and it's going to be small, medium, large. So what I need to do is go to configure terms. Okay, and my first one is going to be small. I'll put it in for the slug as well. Add new size. Okay, so I'm creating, there's small. Then medium, add new size, and large, right? Large, add new size. Okay, small, medium, large. Great. Now that we have our attributes set up globally, and I could reuse these. Sorry, I have my size attribute set up. Now I have to go and create my color attribute, right? So let me go back to attributes, and let me create my color. Oops, color, and color right here. Okay, add attribute. And I'm going to configure the terms for this one as well. And I wanted blue and gray, right? So this one's blue, add color. And my second one is going to be gray, add new color. All right, so now I actually have my attributes set up, the ones that I want. Now I can reuse these for other products if I want to, these attributes. And I can always go back and change these if I need to, the names and that sort of thing. So it's very handy to manage it globally like this, and that's why I recommend it. Now, I'm going to go back to my product. To get back to my product, I'm going to go to under products, that first one right there. Should be at the top of my list. Very cool t-shirt right there. I'm going to edit that. Now, I'm ready to go back to attributes. And now I can add my attribute, and I'm going to, now if I go here to the drop down, I have size and color to choose from. All right. And you'll notice that I'll be able to choose that from any product. If I create a new one, a new variable, a new product, I'll be able to choose that so I can reuse it if I need to. So the first one is size. I'm going to add that. And then here, I can put in different values if this particular attribute is different, but I'm going to select all that I had created earlier. So hit select all, and that just brings them all in. I can reorder it now if I need to. Actually, I'm going to do it one by one. That way I can put it in the order that I wanted to. So I'll just type in small, okay, medium, and large. All right. And I do want to make sure that I can use this for my variations. If I don't check that off, I won't have that option when I actually create my variations. Now here I can check this off if I want to. When I look at the product from the front end, as a customer would see it, there'd be a tab for additional information on the product, and they would see that those variations are available. So I'll check that off too. Later on, when we're done, I'll show you where that is. All right, so let me save that. Okay, so now let me create another attribute. This time I'm going to choose color, add that. And we have blue, and we also have gray. So I'm going to select those, make sure it's used for variations, and I'll make it visible on the product page as well, save attributes. All right, so there we have it. All right, now I'm ready to move on to create my variations. Now I'm going to just save it right here. I'm going to save draft just to make sure I don't lose anything. And then I'm going to go to variations. Okay, now here what I can do is I can just link all my variations, or I can sort of add it one by one. So let me just show you what adding it one by one would do. So if I add variation here, I create my first product, and here where I choose my size. So I could say this is a small one, and a small blue, if I want to do it like that. Now, here's a point that I want to make. I can choose the variation small blue, small gray, then medium blue, medium gray, then large blue, then large gray. All each separate variations if I wanted to do that, because they would each be separate products. Or I can do it as just small any color, because if you remember in the beginning I said that only the size affects the price. So I could do small any color, large any color, medium any color, large any color. If I do it like that, uh, then since only the size affects the price, I could do it like that, and then the variation will only change by size. That said, it all depends on how you want to manage your products. Are you using SKUs? So is it a unique product, small blue, different from small gray? And are you tracking that as inventory? Uh, do you have SKUs for those different products? So it's going to depend on those sorts of things. To be very particular about it, you probably want to do both small and blue, small and gray. Again, it depends on how you want to manage things. Okay, so I just want to show you how to do that one at a time. Now, I'm going to actually remove this, and I want to use the link all variations. Okay, this is going to do it for you, create all those different options for you. Okay, and it'll say it can only do max 50. And so again, if you remember back from my initial comment with exponential variations, it could get very complex, and you could easily get more than 50 if you have a very complex product. So I'm going to hit OK. 6 variations added. And so here we go. We have large blue, medium blue, small blue, and large gray, uh, medium gray. So it created them all. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to save the draft just so I have it. And I'm going to go back to variations. Okay. So here, just so now we can see a little bit better when they're all sort of collapsed. I can reorder this in a way that may make sense to me if I wanted to. Again, it kind of depends on how you're managing things. You don't obviously have to do this, but I could reorder it, okay, if I wanted to see it in a way that sort of makes sense to me. Okay, I just wanted to see it in a different way. Okay, so my small, all right, let's say my smalls are going to be $5, my mediums are going to be 10, and my large is going to be 15. Okay, so, and it doesn't matter about the color. Again, I could have had, I could have just had a small variation and then any color, a medium variation. If I wanted to do that, again, depends on how you want to manage your store and if you want to make them unique products or not, how you're tracking inventory. So I was very particular in saying small gray is different from small blue, is different from medium gray, is different from medium blue, so on and so forth. Okay, just being very particular about it. And I'm going to open up this one, and I'm going to give it a price. Okay, it's going to be $5. Okay, and I'll put 0.00. Okay, and my small blue is also $5. Regular price is $5. And my medium is going to be $10, right? So my mediums are $10. And then my larges are going to be 15. Okay, I didn't put 00 on that. It doesn't actually matter. Okay, my larges are 15. All right. All right, let me save that. I just want to make sure that I'm saving. Don't lose anything. Save draft. And then go back to attributes. Oh, sorry, variations. Okay, so I've set my prices. Now, you may have noticed that there's this bulk edit at the top. And you can use that if you have the same value for all your variations. For example, let's say I have 5 in stock of all of these different variations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to toggle enable, actually I'm going to go to this drop down, not that toggle enable. I'm going to go to stock, hit go, and then I'm going to say I have, well, actually I have 10 of all of those. Okay, 10 of all of these variations. Okay, click on OK. And now what's happened is if I open up any one of these under stock quantity, they're all going to say 10. Okay, rather than put in each one. Now, if they're each have a different stock value to start with, then obviously you have to go into each one and set it. Okay, so there's a lot of bulk edit options right here. If they're all the same, weight, let's say, and that sort of thing. So you can set that. Okay, so again, I'm going to go up and save draft. Now, before I leave here and before I forget, I want to set my featured image. Again, we went over adding going over these instructions in the last video, but I'm just going to select this shirt right here, my blue, and I set the blue one as the featured image. Okay, save draft. But what else, another thing that you could do if you wanted, for each of these variations, we go to these variations, you could set a different image. So the small gray, so the gray shirt, I could have the small gray, choose that image right there, set variation image. So I could do that for all my grays if I wanted to, which I'll do. Okay, so I'm setting the variation image. And that way when the user selected that, they would see that image pop up. Okay. We could do that. All right. Let's save the draft. And that's it. Now we'll go back to variations here, just taking another look at it. Again, you can make this as complex as you'd like. You can have lots of variations. You really need to think about it and plan ahead about how you want to do this. Now, one more option here before I leave this screen and publish it, which I didn't mention before, is default selections. Now, when someone goes on to a page, onto your product page, it won't calculate the price until they select their variation. So in this case, they're going to, select their attributes, small and gray, for example, and that will calculate the price. Until they do that, it'll just say starting from. Let's say in this case, it'll be starting from $5. You may not want that. Maybe you want it to give it a default selection. As soon as they land on the page, a couple of the default, it'll already be small and blue, let's say. And that way, when they land on the page, those two options will already be pre-selected. So let's do it like that. Okay, let's save that as draft. And actually, I'm ready to publish it now that I've set that up. I'm going to hit publish, and I'm going to view the product. Okay, so here's my product. It's a very cool T-shirt, and there's the featured image, right? And it's showing $5 because it's small and blue is pre-selected and smalls are 5. Now let me test. The medium is 10 and the large is 15. Right, so that worked out. Now the color is blue, but if I select gray, the gray one should pop up. Okay, so that worked. Now, one thing that I noticed that I don't really like here is large, medium, small. I want to do small, medium, large, just to be a little bit more particular about it. And if I go back here and edit the product, I'll show you what happened here. If I go to attributes and then go here to size, it actually resaved it in the order of how it is done globally, large, medium, and small. Even though when I created it, I did small, medium, large. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to attributes, and because I did custom ordering, I should be able to just edit that order. Oops, sorry, that's okay, yeah. Actually want to go to configure terms. And I want to put small, medium, and large like this. And that should do the trick. Yep, that's it. Now, when I go back to the product, go back to that product and edit it. I may need to resave it here. Let me just go down and take a look. Attributes, size. There we go. Now it's good. Okay, now I check my product, view product. There we go. See that? I did it on the fly like that. So it did work. So there again, we have our small for 5, our medium for 10, and our large for 15. And we also have two colors, blue and gray, and we have a different image for each of the variations. And that's it.